Hey guys, this is Grimy again, and I'm going to at least do a few more videos before I see whether or not people really like this kind of mod-focused video. I thought I was kind of a little over-pressured in time, having the mission timers mod active while I was trying to talk about all my mods, and it was just a little overwhelming. So, for the moment, I'm just going to focus on one mod at a time, and I'm going to get rid of the mission timers, so I have a little more time to think about what I'm saying before I say it. I have a lot of mods, more than I could possibly go through in a single video, so I'm just going to talk about one for this particular video, and I'm going to demo it through the Gatecrasher mission, plus a little bit in the Avenger screen. And the mod I'm going to talk about is my class rebalance mod. So it's just a mod that tweaks some of the vanilla classes. The first thing I did in this mod was I gave XCOM soldiers a few more starting abilities. I always felt that Gatecrasher was kind of nasty, and I thought it was nasty not because it's hard, but because you don't have too many tactical options. You can shoot, you can overwatch, and you can throw a single grenade, and that's basically all you can do. And for someone who's playing on Legend, if you're playing on Legend, you probably know a lot of game mechanics, and to just be hamstrung is kind of bad. Like, I guess you could use the quick start to sort of circumvent that, but still I wanted a gameplay style where you had more early game options. And I introduced 4 new abilities, and I'm going to show them to you over the course of this mission. First, I'm going to drop down here, find the pod. The first ability that I added is Flush. So,
we've got an enemy squad here.
You might remember Flush from XCOM Enemy Unknown. It was an assault ability. It did half damage, as you can see right here. It's half damage rounded up. And it has plus 30 aim, and even if it misses, it forces the target to reposition. So it's pretty useful. It does cost 2 ammo, so it's good to finish off an injured enemy should that be the case. Or it's also just fine to you know, force a guy out of cover. If you're out of grenades, like I said, it's an additional tactical option. Another one you can see here is Suppression. It's provided on certain weapons, so you can't suppress with a shotgun or a sniper rifle, partially because the animations aren't there for it, and partially because I don't want to give out too many abilities. It might just be a little bit OP. You all know what it does. It's the same thing as the Grenadier suppression, but now it's given to basically any soldier, even at rookie rank, unless they're wielding a sniper rifle or a shotgun. Third ability is Gunsmack. You probably know about this from the Beatdown mod. It's not exactly the same as the Beatdown mod. I made a few balance tweaks and a few implementation tweaks. So in terms of balance, it does exactly 1 damage, because I thought 1 to 3 was a little too powerful. It by default has a 50% chance to stun only organic enemies. I thought, you know, the stun utility was a little more interesting to have it go from 25 to 50%. Now for the technical changes I made to the Gunsmack ability. First technical change is my implementation does not involve a screen listener. So in theory it should have a minor performance improvement. I don't know how big this performance improvement is. I've never really measured it, but like I said, in theory it should be there. The last ability you can't see yet, but I'll show you after I reveal this. Reveal myself on this pod. There's a lot of other features I'm showing in my mod load order right now. I'm just not going to talk about them in this video, and I'll talk about them in a future video. My goal is, like, even if these Let's Plays, even if you could call them that, don't turn out to be popular, I'm hoping that at least I can reuse these videos for, like, my mod page. So at least I'll get something out of it, even if, like, they don't turn out to be that popular for whatever reason.
Orders confirmed. Moving out.
Alright, so we're gonna kill this pod, and then we'll go from there.
Overwatch.
I accidentally moved my sniper, so I guess she's just gonna. Okay, okay. We are just gonna deal with this pod without a proper Overwatch, just because I was not paying attention. This is the strafing fire ability from my Fury class. Like I said, I'm not gonna go too far into depth with this. It's definitely one of the more powerful classes that I've made. But like I said, not talking about that. I'm talking about my vanilla class rebalance mod.
Enemy down.
Anyways, the Fury can move and shoot a few times. It's pretty nifty.
I got nothing. Closing on target position now. Target disabled.
You're probably looking at that and thinking, oh, that's just stupid OP, and you know, you might be right. So the fourth and final ability that I'm going to demo for this mod before I hop on over to the Avenger menu is the sneak ability. The sneak ability is like the conceal ability for from the Ranger class. The difference is, first of all, it's not one-time use. It's unlimited use, but it has a 4-turn cooldown.
On the move.
Additionally, it only lasts for half a turn. And the reason I made this skill is because pod activation is extremely nasty in XCOM, right? You trigger a pod when you're not ready and you just get destroyed. I wanted to have a tool to combat that, and the tool I made is this, the sneak ability. Basically, since you're only in concealment for half a turn, you reveal the pod at the end of your turn anyways. So it's not really something you can exploit repeatedly to get, like, just stay behind enemy lines indefinitely. But it does let you, you know, spot an alien pod before you activate them. Maybe you're going for a flank. You don't know if the flank is going to reveal an alien pod. So you sneak first, you go over there. If you don't reveal an alien pod, you just proceed as normal. If you do reveal an alien pod, you might think, oh, I can't handle that right now. I'm going to pull my sneaking soldier back and not trigger that pod this turn. And last note is, sneak does not contribute to Shadow Strike. Like I said, it's just a tool for pod activations. I did not want to make it overpowered at all. But I'm just going to show you it's deactivating at the end of your turn. Alright, we snuck into an alien pod. I'm going to end my turn. Ending my turn should
Position compromised.
end the sneak concealment, which reveals myself to the pod. Like I said, it's only for half a turn, so it has issues. But it does give you the option, it gives you the tactical choice of, you know, pulling back after you run into a pod that you're not ready to deal with quite yet.
Advent troop spotted.
Alright, so that's that. We're going to kill all the AIs and we're going to head straight to the Avenger. I'm going to review the changes I made to the vanilla classes, and I'm going to talk about the changes to the GTS perks, and that should wrap up this video. The first change I'm going to cover is the Psi Operative. I don't have a Psi Operative here, but the change is pretty straightforward. I've capped the number of abilities that they can get to 7 instead of 14. Psi Operatives were one of the more powerful classes by far, just because of how many abilities that they could get, and the fact that a lot of the Psi abilities are quite powerful. So I thought, you know, capping them at 7 abilities, same as any of the 4 other classes, would balance things out just a little bit. But let's move on to the remaining classes. First, we'll start with changes to the Grenadier. So, first change is going to be at the Sergeant rank. In fact, that's the only change to the Grenadier. So, since suppression is provided at the rookie rank to any class with a rifle or a cannon, I had to replace suppression with something. I replaced it with the Mayhem ability. If you guys remember Mayhem from Enemy Unknown, suppression would deal 2 damage with Mayhem. It would also deal +2 damage to AoE attacks, but I felt adding that on would just be a little bit too powerful. I also changed Demolition to be a 100% chance of have a 100% chance of destroying cover. Because let's be honest, taking a chance to to improve your chance of hitting the next time you take a shot is kind of terrible. I could have made this free aiming. I could have made it collateral damage, but there's already a mod for that on the workshop, so it would kind of be redundant work. And on top of that, I think collateral damage would just be a tiny bit overpowered. It basically would be a free grenade constantly over the course of the mission. These two abilities also provide +4 reserve ammo. If you don't play my attrition mod, you don't need to care about this at all. It will have no effect on your gameplay experience. Just pretend it's not there. Next up is the Specialist. Now, the Specialist, I've made quite a few changes to, because a lot of the Battle Medic perks I felt just were not worthwhile. So the Supply Protocol was originally Medical Protocol, and in my opinion, and I think in most people's opinion, Combat Protocol is just so useful that Medical Protocol couldn't really compete. So I replaced it with an ability called Supply Protocol. Supply Protocol is actually 2 abilities. First one, you get the Gremlin Loot ability, so now you can send out your Gremlin using a single action point to go out there and pick up a piece of loot and bring it back to you. This other ability is the Restock Protocol, where you can send your Gremlin, where the first use of Aid Protocol, every mission, restores 4 reserve ammo to one of your soldiers. Once again, if you're not playing my attrition mod, you can disregard this effect. It basically will do nothing for you. If you are playing my attrition mod, this means, well, you get +4 reserve ammo. One of your soldiers is going to be able to last a tiny bit longer. Second up, Revival Protocol is replaced with Triage Protocol. Haywire Protocol is extremely strong, so I felt like I needed to give a lot of utility to Triage Protocol to make it compete. So I packaged Medical and Revival Protocol together into Triage Protocol, and then on top of that, this perk changes Aid Protocol to provide 3 shields for a turn. Now, I chose 3 because I don't want it to be so powerful that it makes Aid Protocol kind of like Mimic Beacon. 3 shields is where if you get hit, there's a decent chance, even in the early game, that you're going to take some health damage, right? I don't want people to get off free, injury free, just because they have this Triage Protocol ability. I made no changes to Field Medic or Scanning Protocol. I believe these 2 abilities are pretty balanced. I made no changes to Covering Fire or Threat Assessment. I'm kind of thinking of merging these 2 perks together into one, because I think Specialists are kind of underpowered and these 2 perks are kind of disinteresting. But I haven't really thought of a good skill to replace one of them with. So if you have any good ideas, send them over. Just keep in mind, I'm pretty damn picky. If I make a new ability, it needs to have some kind of meaningful impact on the gameplay. Next up is Ever Vigilant and Guardian. So Guardian is amazing. It's definitely one of the more powerful major perks in the game. Ever Vigilant was just complete garbage. So what I've done is I've changed it so that you always get Ever Vigilant, even if you spend actions on other things. So basically it's a free Overwatch shot every turn, as opposed to Guardian, which is when you go on Overwatch, you might just get a huge amount of Overwatches just repeatedly. So I think that kind of balances things out. Last change is Restoration. You know, Capacitor Discharge, extremely powerful. Restoration, not something you really want to... It's not something you're going to use a lot, not on a regular basis, because if you take that much injury in XCOM, you're just going to get destroyed from injury timers. So what Restoration now does is, it still does what it previously did, but now Restoration actually clears any injury timers on any soldiers. So it's now a pretty powerful kernel level perk, because now your soldiers, you can deliberately send them out, tank a shot, and not worry about it once per mission. And I think that's about powerful enough to be a good kernel level perk. So that's Restoration. Next up, we have the Sharpshooter. I made only 2 changes to Sharpshooters. If you have more ideas, like I said, I'm all ears. Return Fire, I got rid of. It was by far one of the worst perks in the entire game. I've replaced it with Coordinate Fire, something vaguely in the same theme. This is an ability you can cast every 4 turns, and it gives yourself and all your allies within 25 tiles covering return fire with their primary weapon. So if that soldier gets shot, and that soldier specifically, he'll return fire and he'll shoot before the alien gets to attack. So it's pretty damn good, but it's a 4-turn cooldown. So it's a little nice. It's a good power up, but it's for sharpshooters in the early game. But it's a power up that's only really good if you're taking hits, and that's kind of something you want to avoid. But if you're in a bad position, this ability can pull you out of those really nasty situations. I didn't make too many changes to the rest of the tree. I got rid of the aim perk because, let's face it, hunkering down is not something you're going to do too much in XCOM. Instead, I've replaced it with situational awareness. Situational awareness increases your turn time by 15 seconds. This is only relevant if you're playing my mission timers mod. Otherwise, you'll probably want to replace this perk with another perk. If you're wondering how am I going to replace this perk with another perk, well, from what I've heard, the Long War Studios team has already made a mod called the Perk Pack mod. I think they've talked about it a little, and basically it'll let you customize the perks on your classes. So you'll be able to use that and just like remove any perks that I added with this mod that you don't like, and just put in the ones that you do like, and hopefully that'll work out well when it comes out. Hopefully it comes out soon. And last but not least, let's talk about the Ranger. The Ranger only had one perk changed, and that is the Deep Cover perk. I've replaced it with Will to Fight. I didn't change anything else because Rangers are probably one of the most powerful classes in XCOM, and I didn't want to change too much up. So Deep Cover was bad, double move, and you could get an automatic hunker down. That's like not significant. Instead, I've replaced it with Will to Fight. Will to Fight increases your melee damage by 10% of your soldier's willpower minus 6. So it's potentially 2 to 6 damage depending on willpower PCSs or so forth for swords. And typically it'll only be +2 to +3 depending on your soldier's willpower rolls. Yeah, that's about it. The Will to Fight might be tweaked, and if you have any other abilities, be sure to let me know. And what else is there?
Commander,
yes.
to the research labs.
The last thing is the GTS perks. I changed a little. So Hunter's Instinct +3 damage to flanked enemies. I thought it was a little too powerful, so what I did was I reduced it from 3 to 2. But I made it also apply to melee weapons, just to, you know, balance out the discrepancy between melee and shotguns on Rangers. Deadshot, I completely got rid of the 10% crit chance and replaced it with something else, because 10% crit chance and your crit damage does like what? Up at most 4 damage. Your crits are worth at most +4 damage to a sniper. So 10% of 4 is like 0.4 damage increase on average. That's terrible compared to like Hunter's Instinct, which is +3 damage a turn, or +6 if you have rapid fire. It's literally like 10 times worse. So I replaced it with something that's actually comparable. Now Deadshot provides bonus damage to enemies that can't be flanked. So stuff like Archons or Sectopods that can't be flanked. These enemies now receive +1 damage from pistols and +3 damage from sniper rifles from the Sharpshooter class. Biggest Booms, I did not change. Biggest Booms isn't a huge damage buff, but just because grenade launchers are so powerful to begin with, I was hesitant to make this even more powerful. So Biggest Booms is unchanged. Last but not least, Cool Under Pressure was changed to give +1 damage on Overwatch shots. Once again, I want it to be roughly on par with Hunter's Instinct in terms of total value. It still gives you the aim and crit bonuses to Overwatch as well. And last but not least, I made a few changes to prices, and that's really my class rebalance mod in a nutshell. This video probably went a bit longer than I wanted to, but yeah, that's my class rebalance mod, and I hope you guys will drop in next time where I can talk about one of my other mods. Most likely I'm going to talk about the class mod next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next time.